All right, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend here. I am going to be working on a commission that I got recently. Um, Pretty happy with it so far. Having a little bit of trouble with the second character here, but we are going to try to figure that out today. So I've got this character all squared away here on the left. This is the client's character Octavia, and on the right here is going to be Roa, and Roa is going to be overthrowing Octavia because Octavia has become a Dark Queen and she has murdered Roa's lover. So, yeah, that's what we're going for here. So I'm not sure how I feel about this pose for Roa. I was trying to use Pinterest to get some poses and whatnot, but it is wigging out today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to at least load in the ones that I have, and then we'll see if we can make something work. I think the biggest challenge with this is getting a pose where Roa is not completely from behind. Oops. It's wigging out real quick while it loads everything. I do want something like dynamic, and Roa does have a staff that has a scythe slash anchor on one end of it. So I'm trying to find something that I can use that we can show her generally from the front for the most part, but still have her in like a cool pose where she's using the scythe. Could do this Mako one's pretty close. It also needs to kind of like make sense like in the scene. I have it like where she's kind of like going up to meet Octavia in the throne room, so don't really need that one right now. Here's some scythe poses here, or at least some weapon poses. Like that one shows a good amount of the front, but it's just kind of like a weak pose. There's this one. That's a maybe. Oh, I'll come back to it. I don't know why my things are also freaking covering my stuff right now. Let's see. So that was body type stuff. This one isn't too bad. That might actually work. So what we're gonna do is I'm going to convert this real fast to an image material layer, and then we'll make a copy. That one's cool too. I don't know. We'll keep that one as a backup. So let's close these other ones. I got a little booby chart there to help me out in just a moment. Alright, so let's close all these other ones that I can always reference them later if I need to. Close, close. I just want to get back to the main image. There's a reference from Mark Burnett. There we go. Alright, let's do this, and what we're going to do is we're going to paste our reference in here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a a mannequin out of it. Hey, Nifa, how's it going? Hey, Pensy. Oh no, I'm sorry you don't feel well, Pensy. That's no good. Thank you for being here anyway, though. So I'm gonna put like she's kind of like jumping a bit. So we're gonna do this, and what we're gonna do is we're also gonna turn on our rule of thirds, so I know where exactly I can about where she should be. I'm gonna try to make her bigger because she's actually closer to the viewer. And something about here, because it kind of lines up with the back of the staff and where the eye line is. So we're going to do that. I'm going to turn off the background and the foreground here. And I had a 3D model here that I was using as a reference, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn that off because that didn't really help. And we're going to turn this into a mannequin. That way we can create our character from the pose. I need to actually practice doing gesture drawings. That way I can, you know, start making these like mannequins from memory here. So, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna break her into simple shapes, into cylinders, into trapezoids, that kind of thing. I'm gonna mark where the center lines are on everything. That way I know where to place the anatomy. And which direction the you know, all the things should be going, all the cylinders. We're gonna give her a spear here for the shoulder. Do that. I'm gonna mark where the eyes are and the center, and then we'll do a Loomis head up here just to kind of give us an idea of where the head is. The skull, and the neck will be somewhere around here. And then we need, I'm going to do another circle here, or spear, and another cylinder going this way. And it's actually hard to see this hand because of the glove that they're wearing, but I'm assuming that it's kind of going like this. So do that. We'll mark this. And then the let's see, so it's coming, the other cylinder is coming this way for the arm. So far, I'm thinking that this one is going to work for what I need. So let's get the shape for the hips here. Again, we're trying to keep track of the center lines of things. Let's make a cylinder here. And that's like the top, and then it kind of goes like that. Then we have a cylinder that's going this direction. And let's do like we'll do a square for the kneecap because that makes it a little easier to figure out. This is kind of the center here, and then it goes like that. This is usually just like the best way to get your poses down in like a mannequin form. I actually do want her to have boots, so that's pretty awesome that it already has the boots on the reference, so that's pretty dope. That helps out significantly. So there's another cylinder over here for this leg, and it looks like it's turned outward a little bit, so it's more like that. And then this cylinder goes this way. I'm not an expert at doing this. This is just something I do like occasionally here. And then we need where the actual weapon is so we know. So we're going to just put a line, and we're just going to do this number for the hand for now until we figure it out. And I'm just going to mark also where the eyes are, and the nose should be about here. Alright, that should do us pretty good. Oops, I didn't do the other end of the staff here. There we go. So we have a somewhat coherent pose here. And I think I'm going to flip it because it'll probably make it easier to draw. Why is this like clipped? There we go. It's weird. Alright, so now I need my references of the other character, Roa. So we've got that one. We've got the one that's from the period that it's in. Looks like she has like kind of like a either like a bob or like a cut kind of like the major a little bit. We're going to change the design just a bit to kind of fit like, you know, what's going on here. Alright, so I need to do another sketch here. So we know that her nose is going to be around here. We're just kind of sketch out a little bit how things are going to be. So I want her mouth to be coming open like she's yelling. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those movements are pretty intense. And we're just doing like really, really loose sketching here at first just to get it a little bit more like fleshed out. She's got like the thicker eyebrows too, so I gotta make sure I include those, kind of like the Satsuki Kirin eyebrows. None for keeping. Let me risk it, asking if I should go the distance. Yeah, the Jolene eyebrows. So actually want that one over more. So the eyes should be nice and wide because she is screaming. The cheeks would be up a little bit, so it would push the under part of the eye. We're gonna kind of have her looking like she's looking the direction that she's going to be. She's gonna be going towards, like in the motion for swinging the scythe. So I'm actually gonna do this. I think I'm gonna need to bring these eyebrows up some more. We're just doing loose sketching right now till we figure out exactly what we're gonna do. So I'm thinking what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to move this up to like up here. I'm gonna keep the eyes going like they're looking in the same direction, like they're looking at her. Alright, so let's come here and let's do this and get her roughly where the hairline would be. And we're gonna kind of have this come up like this is the scythe down here, part of it. And the client said that the scythe is kind of like an anchor shape. So we're gonna try to work that out, but right now we're just gonna put like a placeholder. We can make it look pretty cool if we really like work on it. Probably have to make that wider so it's more like a scythe and less like a spear. And then this end's got like this crazy thing going on here. So we'll try to incorporate that too. Yeah, something like that. Alright, so let's see. So now I need some anatomy references so I can get this right. So let's go ahead and let me open up my little thing here and see if I can find some of my references I had saved so I can make sure that the body part is actually as close as possible. Alright, so I want that. Want that. I like the shape on that one. Alright, so let's open those, and then what I'll do is see if I have any references that have like a similar like bend in like the arms and the torso. I just gotta remember where I put my damn references. Let's see. I know I have some somewhere, or I saved a bunch. I just gotta remember what freaking folder I put them in. Emotes, influencers, blah blah blah. Oh, there we go. I have a reference poster. Folder. Alright, let's see if we can find some references of the arms, at least kind of in a similar angle. Let's see, so we got that. And might have to look through some of my other, I have like several like reference folders, so oh shit, that would have helped me with the other pose. I wish I had looked at that sooner. Whoops. Oh well, hindsight now. Let's bring up these, that. Alright, I'm going to have to look through my other reference folders. So let's see. Oh my god, I leaned on my freaking towel from my shower. Now my back is like moist. I don't like it. Let's see. Where is my other reference folder? I'm so disorganized. I really need to go through and organize everything. It's causing me a lot of time here. Alright, let's see if we can find some better references for the pose and the angle and all that good stuff. Like, it would be fine. Like, I mean, chances are a lot of this is going to be covered by clothes, but you want to be able to have at least the form of the outside of the body itself. That way you know where, like, the tension points and whatnot are. I just hate it because every time I find a reference that I like, it's like doesn't quite fit the exactly the character, and I'm not always 100% good at translating those. So basically, I need to work on my fundamentals more. That way, I can do everything from memory. But who has time to do that? I don't right now. So, let's see. Looking. I know this isn't terribly exciting for you guys. I do apologize. I've got like way more like dude references in action poses. I need to fix that. I've got all these like different expressions and different haircuts and like different ethnicities of people, but when it comes to the anatomy, I do not have as many. So that is something I need to work on at some point, is building some more references and doing some studies. Okay, so I didn't see, I got like one in there to kind of give me an idea, but that's from the front. I need it from like the back there. Oh, I'm sorry, Pensy. I didn't even see what you guys were talking about here. My second zombie won the poll. Nice. Hell yeah. Do zombies have death days like the living have birthdays? Nice. Lewd studies. Nice. Fluffy cute poses. Alright. I might have some more references in here, like tucked away, so let me find that real fast. And I have a whole nother folder here. I was gonna say, I know over time I've gathered like fucking so many references, but it's just like finding them and then sometimes having too many, I think, is kind of an issue. Let's see, so we got that. The worst part about it is they take a while to load too because there's so many of them. Alrighty. We're going to figure this out, guys. Well, there's some hand references. That's nice. It's good to know. Alright, so I need like the back of the elbow and the arm overturned. Like, I know the general anatomy, but I want to make sure that I draw it right from like that angle so it doesn't look weird. Scrolling. Give me something I can use. I've got so much stuff for like portrait or like more like up close things and not so much the body. This is my problem for wanting everything to be dynamic all the time. I don't always have dynamic references. But I don't want things to be boring, so, you know. Everything has to be action bastard. uh, do I seriously not have any that are turned like this? This is crazy. It's kind of... It's a little more extreme, but I can at least look at it a little bit for some reference. So we got that. That doesn't quite go the way I want. That's kind of from the side. That might help. There's like a 3D turnaround. That would probably be helpful. I swear I'll get into the art in a second, guys. I apologize. Just kind of looking for things that could help me so I'm not like just making shit up and making it have it look bad. Especially since I'm getting paid for this. This is also going to be a desktop wallpaper, so it's something they're going to be looking at pretty often, so I want to make sure that it's something that they don't keep staring at it and have it be like, well, this looks weird. They may not see it right away, but eventually they will if they keep looking at it, so... That's kind of from the side-ish. Yeah, definitely need to work on curating my references a little bit better here. I feel like every time I make a new reference folder, like it starts off really organized and then it just like slowly devolves into chaos. Well, not even slowly, like rapidly devolves into chaos, and then I can't find anything. That's gotta be. I'm gonna blame my ADHD because I'm like, ooh, that looks cool. Ooh, that looks cool, and it's always for like different stuff, and then it all ends up in one folder, and then I'm like, fuck. Why did I do this to myself? This isn't helpful anymore. uh, well, here we go. There's some like muscle reference from different angles. That's cool. That's kind of close too, actually, to the pose. I'm gonna just grab some of these and then hopefully with all these references combined we can get this looking right with our powers combined. I swear I'm almost done, guys. Oh, that's what I need to do. I need to get more Battle Angel Alita references. That would help me a lot. So that manga is goated. Okay. Oh, I just saw your thing there, Nepal. I'll go ahead and get some water. Oh, well, I'm glad you like it. That makes me happy. Go ahead and save here. So let's see. So if I flip this and get kind of an idea of the shape here. It's a little bit, so there's going to be like kind of like the lat area, kind of around here, kind of goes like that, and then we're going to bring that actually in a little bit. So kind of like this. And then the shoulder. So the shoulder is going to kind of come across like this a little bit. And this isn't like the final lines anyway, because we got to put the outfit over the top. Well, let's see if I have any other references can help me with this part of the arm. Let's look at Mark's here because he has some muscle ladies. Alright, so we've got kind of like the tricep kind of comes kind of like we can do that ish. It's such a weird angle. So no, that doesn't look right. Alright, start over. We're gonna get this. We're gonna figure it out. I think I need to lower the opacity more on my mannequin so I just see the outline, and that will help. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Alright, that isn't as good of a reference as I would hope for that. So let's see. It's like this weird like stretch over the body that I don't normally draw this pose very often, so that's why I think I'm struggling so much. Let's see. Here's some of like the back here. That's the one I was looking at. What about that one? Oh wait, here's some more like kind of anatomy here. All right, so let's see. Let's just we'll do this real loose, and then we'll kind of figure it out as we go here. I think I'm overthinking it too much. So we're just gonna kind of go at it for now, and like the bicep area would be up there. The tricep kind of goes like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think most of this is going to be covered anyway. I just need to at least make sure that the shape itself is not fucky. All right, where's my boobas reference? I had one of those. I need to bring that back up. I think that was on my desktop. There it is. All right, so of course made this difficult with the angle again, but they do sit along the ridge of along the rib cage. So we're gonna make this one a little more busty than the other one. Alright. Let's go back to our anatomy here of things. So hips are kind of like this. This is definitely gonna have to be reworked, but that's okay. We're just doing for right now, we're just doing a loose version of this. And we're going to kind of stylize it a bit here. We're going to figure out these boots eventually. So we're going to do this nice and loose here. Well, let's see. So we should be able to see. Can we see the other side on the reference? Or was that covered? Where did I put it? Oh, I've got it on here. Duh. So we can't really see where. Okay, so it doesn't show up on the reference. So we're not going to make anatomy show up where it doesn't exist, because that's not the way we do things. Let's see. Of course, there'll be some abs going on like this way. We're gonna just like get the basic shapes down so I can figure out what the outfit is going to look like, what the costume's going to look like, way things are going to flow, etc. Everything is really rough in my process until I like get confident enough with whatever I'm doing. So a lot of trial and error, a lot of like fixing things, that kind of thing. So let's get her skull here because she needs that. Alright, let's flip it that way. And I'm thinking we should also be considering a little bit the perspective here. So like that. Let's bring it back in so we're following our rule of thirds here. We're going to make this wider here, since she's going to be moving towards the background here. So we're trying to make it nice and dynamic as well. So the leg area and whatnot, since it's closer to the viewer, is going to be larger. Alright, let's figure out an outfit and stuff for her that's kind of similar to what we were, the reference that we have. Let's bring this up. We're going to tweak it like we did with Octavia as well. So I kind of like this little thing here, but I think that if we were to expand it, it might look cooler. So that's something I'll probably keep. I'll probably give her some sort of pauldrons as well, or maybe like some like leather. You know what? She's using a scythe, so maybe using some like leather would probably be better. That way she can move. Alright, let's kind of get an idea of her hair here. Kind of like just, working real loose just to figure things out. And, of course we have our liquefy tool and all sorts of things that we can use to make adjustments. So we'll be doing that. Alright, let's see here. Trying to think of the best way to approach this. So let's bring this here. Maybe I should do, well, her boots are the closest thing, so maybe I should do that first. And kind of get like the weapon kind of going too. I'm trying to use like similar lines and whatnot that I did in Octavia. That way it looks like the clothes and equipment and stuff like that are within the same like time era. We don't want her to have like a futuristic looking weapon if she's not in a futuristic setting, so we're gonna kind of, I think I'm gonna make this a little more anchor like than scythe like, because I kind of think that that's like a much meaner weapon than a scythe. Getting hooked with like a giant like anchor sounds way worse than getting sliced cleanly. So we're gonna go that route. that, and let's have like a pretty large area coming here. So let's do this and clear that out. And then we can have this kind of like mold into it. And then maybe there's like some long kind of like indent, like rut kind of things here maybe. And then it needs to kind of do a similar thing on this side over here. Trying to think about like the angles of things. Alright, so this needs to kind of be curved this way and then come out some. We'll have, it goes like kind of like that where it flares. Something along those lines. Let's flip it, and I think what we can do is push it out some this way so it's more curved, even though it is at an angle here. Make it wider. Well, this one's not as close. It's more towards the background, so maybe this one needs to come out more. Make it look nice and mean. So we also need to make sure that this is pretty thick down here, because we don't want it to have like a brittle support system. We're gonna put a little bit of some more similar shape language going on it too. Around the thing. Alright, that's pretty cool. I'm going to change the color on it so I know what are different elements on different parts of the layers and whatnot. And it doesn't really go into that hand, but kind of have it. Let's make sure that it's thick. You know what? It might be cool if this end here, of course, has this, but maybe there's like a chain or something. Might be kind of cool to have. So I think I have some chain brushes here. that kind of like links from this like thing down here. It would make it look cool. So let me find one that's nice and thick. Let's try this one. That's a little too thick. Let's do 50. I don't know about that brush. I think it needs to be more of like the squared off chains. I know I have one somewhere, so I use them all the time. Let me see if I can find it. I know I have like a much better. Well, what I'll do is I'll just put some placeholder like lines for now. So we'll have it kind of like, we'll have like maybe like a thing that starts somewhere down here, kind of comes up and connects here, and then we'll have it be where it gets thicker towards the top here. I'll try to remember that this is chains. So I'm going to write on it chain. And then we'll have to do all sorts of like adjustments with like the liquefy. And then of course the arc of it won't be exactly perfect if it's a chain, which is okay. Alright, so we got that. Let's figure out some stuff with the outfits. Use some purple instead here. Alright, so let's give her like a similar kind of thing here to what I did with Octavia. That and that. It'll be kind of like more of like a, maybe more of like a bodysuit. I'm gonna go for more like, I think, leather kind of on her. And so I think that'll make her outfit a little more like dynamic. So we'll have her have like go this way and some that kind of come up over like that. And then maybe they flare out a little bit, like here. They flare kind of like that. That'd be kind of cool. And then we got to do something to contain the gals here, so. Let's see, how can we make this work? Let's see. Kind of like this in-between thing. I think it needs to go more of a curve though. Kind of like that. Kind of bring her waist in a little bit. Maybe this comes out a bit more here. Even give her a little bit of like a bodysuit under this that kind of comes to here. Maybe with a little bit more like some kind of like leather kind of armor. Really kind of thinking that's the best way to go. So she can still move around. Just trying to get like shapes. Oh wait, that's too far up. This is more like around here. I love the song, so silly. Alright. So what I'm thinking is I'll start refining the weapon, I think, first. So I think I like what I've got with that so far. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way, because I don't really need that. Let's bring this way down here. Oops. Help if I started on a new layer here. Trying to work big, medium, small. This is a very big piece, so I think that's important to start with. Need to change the angle of this from the way it's... Need to make sure it makes sense. Oh, okay, I see. So we'll do like, there's a little kind of like connecting spot here where it kind of sticks out. Gotta try to think of this as a 3D form as much as possible. Let's give it just a little bit out here. Bring that like that. Out. Like that. I don't like some of these lines. So let's do. Oh, I know what I can do. Sometimes it doesn't select my thing when I want it to. That. We'll do this similar, like I said, to Octavia's shape languages and designs. Well, I'm glad you think it looks good so far, Nympha. I appreciate it. I don't know. Sometimes it takes me like a couple tries to get things down, so. That's okay. We don't have to be. As artists, we don't. Nothing has to be perfect like right away. Usually things come better out of iterations and problem solving. So like right now, I'm trying to think of how I can keep this stuff 3D and have it make sense. Oops. Which is definitely challenging because of the perspective. So it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. That's what we have all sorts of editing tools for. would actually be not quite as pronounced on that side. Might not even show up that much at all, really. It would definitely be lower, like that. There we go. Jeez. Sometimes it doesn't like to cooperate. That is there. There'd be a little bit going like that. So think about the things I just did on the other side. So down, and then out that way. Then it kind of comes up like this, and then like that. There we go, that's better. Oops. Let's see. Well, that doesn't really work. Let's connect this first. Alright, so we got that. I'll have to figure out whether I want to keep that. If I make it too ornate, it won't look as like brutal. So we'll just have like it has like a indent here. Comes like that. Just kind of following like the similar shape language. And then, oh my goodness, if I can get my thing to cooperate. So let's see, let's bring that up. Mm. Hmm. I need to flip it this way. Alright, so there we go. It's a little bit better. Yeah, this commission definitely is going to take a lot of problem solving, but that's okay. That's my job. Hmm? Okay. Alright, I'll be right back, guys. I have to use the restroom. For 305. All right, sorry about that, guys. Oh man, I am hungry. All this thinking has got me hungry again. What? Okay. So let's see. Let's see if we can at least get the lines for this weapon done. And then from there, I will probably call stream to uh, give myself some food and recuperate. Give me some time to step away from it and come back and look at it as well. You know, when you're struggling with something, especially like ideas, it's always like a really good idea to, you know, take a couple, like an hour or two away from it, come back and look at it, and you get like a fresh perspective where you're not like so locked into one particular like idea. Well, that sounds terrifying, song. Such positive lyrics. Maybe I need to flip it back this way. Then we can figure this side out. You know what? I didn't even look like I need to repeat that, but down here. Hmm. Alright, so let's do that. Do this. Kind of like that. Let's do that. And do that. So it's kind of like the same shape. And then kind of comes down like this. It's a little closer. And then should be able to see. Man, I'm confusing myself already. Alright, so if I do that, and excuse me. Alright, so let's take this line here. I'm gonna get rid of it real quick. brain is just not braining right now. So something like that. So it connects. We'll just have like a suggestion there for where it's kind of like that. Well, it's up like way farther. Maybe you wouldn't actually see that. I swear, sometimes my brain can think in 3D. Not so much today, apparently. I see. So it needs to go more like that. That. Sorry I'm not talking as much, guys. I'm just like... It's always really hard to get going on a Monday. Especially since I didn't really have the rest day I normally have on Sunday. But that's okay. I'll live. Alright. This could also just be massive amounts of copium. I think it's the copium. Copious amounts of copium. Sure, it'd be nice if my brushes would cooperate too. So like that. After all, we can't design a weapon without making it look cool. That's important. There we go. We at least got one side going. Jeez. That only took like the entire stream. Alright. So, I wonder if I can kind of cheat here. Because, you know, work smarter, not harder, right? So, of course, this is more of like the back side, but I think we can make this work. And I think that's a little bit. Oh no, that would completely change the angle there. So let's turn it this way. I might be trying too hard to cheat here. Hold on. Horizontal. Move it over here. Maybe if I do it like perspective wise. I think we'll make this more like that. And then maybe might have to do this manually. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it manually. That's okay. I don't want it to look bad. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to do some of the line weight real fast before I forget to do that. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to hop off of here and I'm going to get something to eat. I'm going to come back to this and look at it and like a little bit, take a break. And that way I can come back with with a fresh look at it and possibly be able to solve some of the issues that I am having. I just don't want to sit here and have the same problem over and over again when I could just step away and then come back and have a good chance of being able to solve it. So it's totally okay to take breaks, especially when you're struggling with something. Just as long as you don't give up on it, like you just come back with a different way to look at it. I do like the idea of this being more of like an anchor on this side. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't listened to Soundgarden in such a long time. Holy crap. I need to download their second album actually. So I think I like that better than this album. I do like this song though. It's very 90s. trying to go a little bit thicker with the line work on some of this stuff up here because it is closer to the viewer, and give you a little bit of a kind of like a trick to the perspective with your line work as well. Like Octavia has like much thinner lines because she is more in the background here. Well, midground more, I should say, than the background, but farther back. This is like nice and up in our face here, so. I don't know if I want those to connect. Maybe be better to let like the eye kind of connect those on its own. That they like kind of come to like a point. We can also do that when we go to do the actual like coloring and the shading. So block that in. Again, implying shapes is sometimes better than straight up like connecting them and doing them as being 100% obvious. Especially since we can do a lot with like the lighting when we go to color it. Go ahead and fill that part in. On that side. And then we'll do some down here. Oops. Oops. Come on. Give me. Shit. All right. Yeah, I think I'm starting to get fatigued here. My line work's getting a little sloppier. So, I'm going to call it in just a sec here. So I don't want just like random parts of it to like be lower quality. I want to keep the quality consistent. So that's probably a decent enough stopping point. So at least we got like our sketches out of the way here, which is good. So I have a better idea of what I'm going to do for like the final design. I think I can make this pose work. So let me go ahead and save. To be honest with you, I changed Octavia probably about 4 times, so it definitely wasn't perfect on the first try. So don't ever try to get things like, don't ever stick with your very first idea unless it's like an absolutely like 100% solid idea. So let's do this. Let me bring everything back up. It's going to be a little hard to see Roa with the background and stuff, but at least we can see where she is now. And I might even bring her down just a little bit more, just so it looks more like she's actually somewhat in perspective here. Either that or I'll make her larger in general so it looks like she's like closer to the viewer. Go ahead and save one more time for the sake of prosperity. And expand this so you guys can see better. There we go. So that's what we got for today. I am going to go ahead and take a break. I'm going to eat some lunch. I'm going to get nice and fueled. I'm going to come back and look at things again with a fresh perspective to see if there's anything I can do to improve it. Let me go ahead and throw you guys in the lobby here. I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I know we didn't get a terribly huge amount done, but you know, you got to see a little bit of like my thought process. You get to see that not everything comes out at the first try, the first iteration, and you just got to keep at it until you get it, till you're happy with it. If you guys are not already following me, go ahead and give me a follow to see when I go live. If you like the type of content I do, please consider subscribing. That would help me out tremendously. If you're watching this on YouTube later or you're lurking, you are also awesome. I will be most likely streaming this again tomorrow at the same time. I hope you guys have a great